What's up, guys? It's Mike Muniz here with another episode of Two Shakes. This episode, I'm going to talk about how I thought I had COVID for about like a week. Um, Still getting over whatever sickness it was. Talk about the lockdowns that are coming back, unfortunately. And of course, the election, which is the hot topic, I guess. But before we do get into that, I do want to give a shout out to our sponsors. Of course, we have the Cockcape, which you can find at thecockcape.com. What is that? It is a fucking a penis holder. It goes along with pajamas. You can wear it at night or during the day, whatever your preference is. And if you want to, fight crime at night with your dick out, you could do it. There's a lot of things you could use this for. Smuggling drugs. But yes, and I did find out, I did get sent images of the new one that will be coming. So that's the American Eagle. We have a new one, should be released at some point in the near future. That resembles our to-be former president. Now, we can't call it by his name, but I believe the name's going to be El Presidente or some shit like that. Looking forward to it. And if you like him, if you support him, it's a good thing to have. It could be a souvenir you could keep. Look down and see old Donnie. Or if you don't like him, also a good purchase. Because it's kind of funny. You control it. You control around, right? You throw that on your dick, yell at it. You're wearing the president as a fucking cocksock. Like, that's pretty funny. And again, you can get that at thecockcape.com. Use the discount code 2shakes. That's TWOSHAKES. And also other merch there with my face on it. More logos and shit like that. And also please like, share, subscribe to the podcast. I want to put them out more often now that I'm not dying. And also, we do have a new sponsor this month, which is Manscaped. Honestly, this is something I was excited about when I found out, mainly because I always wanted to get their products. Just never got around to it. I was going to get it eventually because I didn't have a choice. I'm a hairy person. It gets disgusting. And I got to say, their marketing is just great. Like, look at this. They gave me a box. Your balls will thank you. Boy, is that true. Boy, is that true. Now, they gave me several products of theirs. Lawnmower 3.0 comes with a light, so you can see those disgusting hairs around, your shaft, your sack, your taint, whatever the hell you're going to shave. It's perfect to use. Does not nick your balls. Have to be careful with that word. Does not nick your balls. Also got ball deodorant, which I've never heard of. I did not think that was a thing. I thought, you're going to see a girl, you fucking spray some Axe down there or some shit, and you call it a day. Don't sweat too much. Don't let your thighs touch, right? But yeah, I got that along with another. I believe it was some kind of spray, almost like a cologne for your dick. Also good. Now, guys, most men are disgusting. Like, I'm a hairy guy. Most guys are hairy or not. If not, good. May not need that. But if you are, get it. Get it. No significant other wants to see a hairy sack. Right? Your girl's blowing you. They don't want to feel that fur on their chin. It's disgusting. And God knows what your balls might smell like. You don't want her playing with your balls and it smells like a fucking prison cell in Guantanamo Bay. No. Put some ball deodorant on it. I don't have it here right now. I'll have it on the next episode. And keep that shit fresh. Now, so we're sponsors through there. And for the month of November, on any products that you do purchase, you will get 20% off and free shipping when you use the discount code 2shakes at checkout. Again, that's 20% off and free shipping to keep your balls clean. Do it for you. Do it for your loved ones. It's the time of giving. It's what this season's about. And why don't you give your significant other a fresh pair of balls? All right, so 20% off, free shipping. Use the code word 2shakes at manscaped.com. Again, that's manscaped.com. Check it out. Use the discount code. And we start. So your boy had a corona scare after Halloween. Shit started on like Tuesday night, had a tickle in the back of my throat and a cough. I was like, fuck, got the COVID. That's as soon as I had those two symptoms, that's it. Got the COVID. Woke up the next day, hurting, aching, sore throat, fever, congested, all that. Just felt awful. And I was convinced I had COVID because it made sense. It was Halloween a couple days prior. I went to a Halloween party, but it was not too many people, about 12, 15 people at the most. So thought the risk would be low, but I don't see most of these people a lot. So I was like, fuck, I definitely got it from there. And then, I started thinking about the calls that I was going to have to make to tell people, who I came in contact with, which made me feel like, I was like, is Corona like a new STD? Like that's how it's getting treated, right? Like I was about to make those calls like, hey, I haven't been feeling too good, so you should probably get tested. Like I was dreading that call to be that person, right? Imagine like notifying someone that you may have gave them COVID or an STD, both equally dreadful calls. So I'm like sitting down Wednesday morning. I'm like looking up the symptoms. I'm like, all right, is it COVID? Is it just a cold? Like what's going on? Pull up a whole like list of symptoms of all three things and maybe more. I forget what it was, but showing me the symptoms and like what's COVID and what's not. And guess what? They're all the same fucking symptoms. They literally, I said COVID and the same symptoms that like the cold and the flu had. COVID was like possible on all the symptoms. Like, well, thanks for clearing that up, CDC. Did I have COVID or do I not? Right? And then I'm like, I tell somebody about it and they're saying, hey, well, do you have a dry cough? Like, if you have a dry cough, then you may have it. And I'm like, I don't know if it's a dry cough or a wet cough. I just feel like it's a cough. I'm not sure how you distinguish the temperature of a cough or the moisture, So, a few hours go by. I'm like, I don't think it's a dry cough. I feel like I would feel, a lot more drier rather in my coughs. So I didn't think I had it. Then I pull up an article on the dry cough thing. That's totally bullshit. Literally says could be a dry cough, could be a wet cough. Still confused. No idea. I have COVID, right? Thursday, I sleep all day. I slept for like 14 hours. Thursday comes, feel exactly the same. Still feel like shit. So I'm like, fuck. I start like telling people, I'm like, hey, like I'm not feeling too good. We're all at this party. I just want to let you guys know, is anyone else feeling bad? Nobody else was feeling bad besides my two other friends, who I was, hung out with pretty often. So I was like convinced we all had COVID. And, at this party, you start to think back. I'm like, yeah, I could have totally got COVID there. We're drinking, we're shouting at each other. It was a pretty small place, with, only 15 people, but nonetheless, you could still get it. Sharing shots, I think we did. And we're playing beer games, right? So it didn't help that while playing a beer game, I did a Zamboni. Now, for those of you who don't know what a Zamboni is, if you're playing a beer game, flip cup, fucking beer pong, whatever, if you either spill your beer or you get beer on the table or whatever drink that you're drinking, you have to lips to the table, slurp up your drink. Zamboni. Horrible idea during a pandemic, but I was drunk. And when you're drunk, sometimes you get lost in the moment and you do some things that normally you won't do, like eating ass. Now, eating ass isn't for everyone. Some people do it. I personally will do it. I don't shy away. But some people don't. And for those who don't, even in the midst of that, but still being drunk, you might lick an ass. You know? You might be fornicating a little under the influence. You know, you're eating your box out and you go a little south of the border. Anyways, so I'm just saying, I was drunk. I made a poor decision to slurp tequila off this table that we were all using. All this came to mind when I'm feeling like shit on like Wednesday and Thursday. So Friday, I'm like, I have to go get tested. Like, I'm supposed to go to work on Monday. Like, there's no way they're going to let me in the office feeling like shit. So go get tested. And that was interesting in itself. Like, you see the test done. You shove that shit up your nose. I did the whole CVS drive-thru. A little fucking COVID and go, you know? Quick little test and run. And you get up there and they fucking just give you the shit. They walk you through it. You gotta put this big ass Q-tip up your nose, and I'm a little bitch, so I'm like cringing and tearing up. It's not a good feeling. You know, gave it to them. I'm like coughing all over the place. I got snot everywhere. I'm like, oh, I'm infected. Anyways, 2 days go past. Find out it's negative. And boy, was that a relief. Right? Still felt like shit though. Just came back negative. Now the thing is that you can't do things when you're sick, but you don't have COVID. I feel like I had to carry around papers with me or some shit to prove to people because I was still like sneezing and coughing and shit. Now, try telling people that you don't have COVID when you're out to eat and you're fucking coughing at a table. Right? Like you're out to eat, it's already social distancing, you're in there coughing up a storm, waiter's going to come by like, hey, sir, we're going to have to ask you to leave. You scared the guests, you need to leave. Because I know if I'm at a restaurant or some shit and some old lady's in there, she's fucking sneezing and coughing, like, hey, Grams, get the fuck out of here. Right? That's basically how I felt, like in limbo for several days. But it all went away. No COVID. But can we find out what the symptoms are? I guess I didn't have any breathing issues. I was on like a fucking ventilator. So I didn't have COVID. But get tested. Get tested. All right, everyone? Don't kill your grandmother. Be careful. And don't slurp alcohol off a table. All of that is good advice I would give you. So COVID's on the rise again in the country, just like every expert told us it was going to be. They said when it got colder, cases are going to rise. Just be vigilant, America. And guess what we did? We used no condoms. That's basically what happened. You know, we started dating freedom again for a little bit, and we stopped using condoms. And now we're back in the same fucking predicament. So they're going to start shutting shit down again, right? I mean, there's people dying. There's more hospitalizations. There's more cases. And you know what? I'm at to the point, maybe we need to let some people die, okay? Does that sound bad? Yes. But, you know, we send people to war to fight for our freedom. And now we're going to let people die to continue our freedom, right? Like, don't shut down my gym. Don't shut down bars. You know what it is? Grandma, grandpa, stay the fuck home And if you go out and you have, loved ones that are vulnerable, don't see them. Don't see them. And I think that's what we need this holiday season. Less time with family, right? Like, some of it's fun, but some of it's not. I like seeing my family for like several hours, 2, 3 hours. That's it. I'm good. I don't want to open presents with people. I want to have a drink, eat some cookies, and watch Netflix wrapped in a blanket at my own place. I don't want to go to fucking 3 parties and see a bunch of family. So, listen, stay the fuck home. But what's going to happen? Like, we're going to go back in lockdown again? People aren't going to have jobs. Not going to be any money. I will start rioting as well. I will partake in the protests, but I will keep 6 feet away from everyone because I don't want COVID. It's happening, people. Every country locked down. The funniest thing is that people think it's like not real. Like those conspiracy people. It's fake. It's government. It's tyranny. Well, every other country in the world is currently doing lockdowns. So, unless you're thinking that every country conspired to lock citizens in home and tank their economies, it doesn't really make sense. What really probably makes sense is that it's an actual virus that we don't have under control and that may kill some people. We can argue, should, we just let people be killed by it? And I would argue for that. I think that's just what we're gonna have to do, because I'm not taking no fucking vaccine. Right? Like, I might as well just get COVID. Honestly, I wish I just had it. In, out. Hopefully I don't have any breathing issues. Right? But listen. I'm Zambonian tables. I'm eating ass. I'm sure I can fight off a fucking, some difficult breathing. Right? Like, what's gonna happen? Keep everything open. Please. Or give us all money. That could help. Listen, they start stimulating the economy, start throwing out checks left and right. That's what they should do. That's how Trump should go out. Trump should dress like Santa. Right? On Christmas Day, take fucking Air Force One and start just dropping a bunch of stimulus checks. Or just money. He's just raining cash everywhere. That would save his legacy. Trump, you should listen. If you're watching, I know you're not, but if you are, do that. Listen, I think everyone would change their opinion about him if you dress like Santa and start throwing out bags of money everywhere. I'm just saying, could work. So since we last spoke, the 2020 election occurred. One of my favorite elections to watch up until this point in my life. Why? Because so many people were invested in it, right? So many people cared. Like, oh, he's bad, he's good, he has dementia, he's a racist. Like, people were actually invested in this, and all I saw were the country's fate is in the hand of 2 white 70-something-year-olds. What are we doing? Our system is obviously broken. Can we do something about that? Like, it's the funniest thing about the Democrats. They preach progressivism, right? They preach equality. They preach like socially moving in a forward direction, which, I'm on board with most of the stuff. But you can't preach that shit and then shove a fucking old white guy who can't talk and make him the president-elect when you actually have good candidates there. That's something that I'll never understand. It's one of the reasons why I kind of I didn't care who won. In my eyes, Biden wins, Trump gets out, and his supporters can go do something else with their lives. And if Trump wins, then hopefully the Democrats need to like completely reorganize the party and get their shit together and stop giving us old white people to run the country, right? Hillary and Biden, the country of progress, or the party of progress gives us Hillary and Biden. Like, what are we doing? Anyways, I listen. Trump is pissed off. Watching his Twitter after that shit happened, and the all caps tweets, and he's all on his speed or whatever the fuck he's on, and he's like, rigged election, the biggest crime against America's democracy ever. All this shit, and I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I don't blame him. Like, if I'm running against somebody who clearly has dementia and they beat me somehow, but I also don't acknowledge my own mistakes, I'd be considering fraud too. Like, how did this guy, he can't talk for 3 minutes, forming coherent sentences, but he just beat me in an election. I would think it was some shit going down, some fuckery afoot. But maybe it was other things. Maybe it was how you handled COVID. Right? Like, you can't run away from that shit. That's where he fucked up. I honestly think if Trump handles COVID differently, or if obviously COVID never happens, landslide victory, especially against Biden. When they're pushing Biden, I was worried. I'm like, they're going to lose. But COVID happens, and Trump just, couldn't believe in other people, like medical experts, for some reason, Experts are out there talking about how deadly this could be, how bad it is, wear your mask, be careful. And then Fauci steps down the podium, Trump goes up and completely contradicts everything. Maybe you should listen to the guy who's been in public health for 50 years and has written books about respiratory diseases. Maybe, just maybe, you should have listened to him. You should have came out more cautious than you actually were publicly. You created a whole sect of people, a cult, you may call it, of people who are anti-mask. Like that's a human trait. They're anti-mask, and they believe that it's all to steal your freedoms away. Conspiracies, He made this, so maybe that's why you lost. Either way, I'm excited to see that shit stop. Like, I hope the whole, hope MAGA flags on trucks are not a thing anymore. I hope he leaves peacefully. It's not looking that way right now. It looks like he's giving him a bunch of shit. He's accusing a bunch of people of fraud, voting systems, mail-in ballots being switched over. The largest scale voter fraud of all time in our nation against our own democracy. But yet the Republicans won more seats. So you can't really reconcile those things. So you're saying people, wrote in Biden, switching votes or whatever, but yet put a Republican senator. Like, what are you saying? Anyways, say what you will about Trump. The guy created a fucking cult. All right, the guy took 4 years, or a little bit more when he was campaigning, and he created a very large group of people that will believe anything that the guy says, even if it's complete and utter bullshit, right? And at first it's kind of funny, right? Because I know normal people who believe in complete nonsense because it goes against him. Not necessarily that he said it, but that it goes against him. I have people sharing fucking videos and just bullshit that has like no evidence behind it. They're just sharing it. And I just can't wait for that to be away. But that makes me think, hey, that's how Hitler got to power, right? Not that he's a genocidal maniac, but that's how it works. Like, you just feed off people's basic things, basic instincts. You create it. You play towards like your base, and talk about how radical the opposite side is, and that they're going to destroy the country, and you get people on board, right? I mean, it's crazy. I'm happy it's done. I'm looking forward to Biden's public speeches. I think it's going to be one of the funniest things ever. And I give it for about a couple months before Kamala kicks that motherfucker down a flight of steps and kills him. I just think that's going to happen. Kamala looks like that person, right? She just looks like, she looks like she'll do anything to move ahead, work her way up. That includes pushing down old Joe Biden down a flight of steps at the White House. Call it an accident. Boom, gone. There's no way that man's surviving a fall. You see him? If there's a fucking strong breeze, this dude might split in half. Anyways, we'll see what happens. Thank you all for watching, supporting. Please remember to share and subscribe to the podcast. Leave your comments. Again, I want to shout out our sponsors. Cockcape. Go to thecockcape.com. Get American Eagle. And again, if you like old Donny Boy, that should be coming out soon. I might get one. I think it's hilarious because it actually looks like him. Like, wait until I have it. It's great. Again, get that at thecockcape.com. Use the discount code 2shakes, TWOSHAKES. And also, there's other merch there. And our new sponsor, again, Manscaped. If you want to not have a bush and be disgusting, get Manscaped Lawnmower 3.0. If you're already hairy and you're and your balls smell like a gym locker room, get the ball deodorant. There's so many products that are necessary there to be a functional male that you have to get it. Again, it's 20% off. It's free shipping, people. If you have a boyfriend and you watch this, get it for him. And if you're a guy and you have a girlfriend, get it for yourself. It's 20% off. It's free shipping. It's the holidays, people. Treat yourself. Treat them with fresh gonads and a smooth pubic region. All right? Again, 20% off, free shipping when you put the code word in 2shakes. That's TWOSHAKES at manscaped.com. Again, manscaped.com. Discount code 2shakes for 20% off plus free shipping. Okay? Keep your fucking taint smooth, motherfuckers. Let's go.